Hi, I'm Senthil, Partner Solutions Architect, AWS.
Hi, I'm Vivek Bharati, Ecosystem Product Leader at IBM Software.
We work with customers across the globe and across industries, and they often build APIs, right, to cater to their applications in a traditional sense, as well as agentic AI workloads. Customers not just use the API gateway that we provide on AWS, they also have API gateways elsewhere, right? So, what do you see when engaging with customers?
Well, businesses don't run on one API gateway, right? There are multiple departments, multiple development groups building cool agentic applications, really important applications leveraging APIs. So there are more than one API gateway. These could be running on as AWS native API services, could be on-prem gateways, it could be across multiple business units, like I mentioned earlier. It could be across acquired companies as well. And that could be third-party platforms as well when organizations are operating as part of an ecosystem. So here is where I think it's really important for organizations to understand the importance of API federation. The gateways that they're dealing with are multifold. It could be Amazon API gateway, it could be Data Power, it could be Kong, APG, it could be webMethods as well. We also provide API gateway capabilities. The business challenge here is that of API sprawl. You have so many APIs sitting in different IT estates, and you're not able to completely unlock the value of these APIs. And there is, of course, policy inconsistency, limited visibility into who's using what API, what the consumption pattern looks like, and obviously there are security vulnerabilities as well that we need to address.
We talked about API gateways running in multiple locations, on-premise, AWS. How do you govern them? What's your take on API governance?
Well, there is this concept of federated API management. And in principle, you don't go and rip and replace every gateway to create one gateway that rules them all, right? You try to have an opportunity to bring them all together and govern all these gateways centrally. Local teams keep flexibility that way. Enterprises and businesses maintain control. It enables them to centrally enforce policies, bring unified visibility, standardize governance, and distribute runtimes with the flexibility that they need. This model is critical in hybrid and AWS heavy environments, giving customers the ability to operate APIs for agentic AI requirements. So, Senthil, when it comes to deploying APIs in the AWS environment, what services are popular among your customers and developers?
AWS offers the Amazon API Gateway, which is a fully managed serverless offering which customers can come in, build, deploy, and consume their APIs on. We remove the undifferentiated heavy lifting from the customer's shoulders, meaning they don't have to patch or maintain servers. We do all of that for them. And when we look across our customers, in reality, they have APIs that they bring to the cloud, run them on the Amazon API Gateway, while they also have some APIs that are running on-premise, right? So they run on-premise in their data centers behind a legacy API gateway that they own and manage, right? So we see hybrid stuff on-premise running on legacy, and we also see scalable stuff running on the Amazon API Gateway. So that was customers running APIs on-premise in legacy environments and also on the Amazon API Gateway in a scalable fashion. Now, when you have these APIs running in disparate locations, how do you control them? How do you federate them?
Sure. So without federation, it's clearly a nightmare, right? Especially if you're managing the API estate, you don't know where exactly you have these operations going. Security policies differ, rate limits vary, authorization standards are very different, telemetry becomes fragmented. This is a hard challenge for the IT organization. How do they let their business teams keep accelerating their agentic AI initiatives without breaking the system when it comes to API management? Here is where IBM comes in with webMethods hybrid integration. This platform acts as a unified integration and API control layer, enabling your teams to visualize your entire gateway landscape, capture the telemetry across hybrid runtimes, and also manage APIs centrally to be able to govern its lifecycle from design to retirement. Even if APIs are deployed on AWS, you gain centralized oversight. That means you have visibility into the API inventory, runtime health monitoring, usage analytics, and lifecycle governance across all your environments. This gives you control and the confidence to scale your agentic AI initiatives underpinned by your API strategy with confidence and conviction. So, Senthil, it seems like there is clear business value that we can take to customers, bringing IBM webMethods hybrid integration and Amazon API Gateway as one solution for federated API management. Can you maybe explain as to how to architect these together in a solution?
Yep, sure. So here's how this will work in practice. So AWS teams first deploy APIs using the Amazon API Gateway. The telemetry and metadata, it integrates into the IBM control plane. That's webMethods hybrid integration. And then your policies through the webMethods hybrid integration environment aligns with your enterprise standards. Your APIs are cataloged centrally through the control plane that webMethods hybrid integration provides. And then you get governance dashboards out of it, which provides cross-platform visibility. In addition to the Amazon API Gateway, you can also connect your on-premise data power gateways. You can also connect webMethods gateways. webMethods does provide API gateways for you to consume on-premise. And then if you're using any third-party gateways, right, you can also bring them in and integrate them using software development kits that those third parties provide. So this now creates a single pane of glass for all of your gateways in a multi-gateway world. So you take your data power, you take your web methods, you take your third-party gateways, anything running on-premise, and also you take your Amazon API Gateway running in the AWS cloud and get telemetry, governance dashboard, everything from one single place, which is IBM webMethods hybrid integration, SaaS running on AWS.
So, Senthil, how do we connect this Federated API management solution to the theme of our series around activating agentic AI applications?
Yep, so agentic AI systems, as we spoke about, they rely on APIs traditionally, right, in a general setting in an organization to do things like accessing the ERP, updating a CRM system. Maybe you want to trigger a specific workflow or a bunch of workflows. You have an event stream. You want to do real-time data processing and you want to consume from that stream. Let's say your APIs are inconsistent or if they are unsecured. Your agents tend to become unpredictable and you tend to lose control over what those agents are doing. So federated API management basically ensures that your APIs are trusted. Yes, so you want to know what the outcome of invoking an API is going to be, and it needs to be predictable. And your authentication and authorization mechanism needs to be standardized. And the way you expose your agent internally and externally needs to be controlled. So you only want the right people to be able to access that agent, and you want that agent to only be able to access the information that it is supposed to access. You basically want to have minimal privileges that it needs to execute its function. And then your API management for your agents needs to be auditable, right? You want to go back and trace what the agent did, what APIs were called, what happened to your backend system. And then you also want to have that observability and overall observability for your AI agents as well as for your APIs, so that you can track when something goes wrong and you can track performance. You can get the most out of your agentic AI workflows that you build and run in the cloud.
Distributed innovation, when it meets centralized governance, that is federated API management. And you achieve that with AWS native agility that the Amazon API Gateway provides and enterprise governance that IBM webMethods hybrid integration offers. That gives you hybrid integration for API federation at scale. And you don't slow teams down. You would, in fact, enable them to scale agentic AI initiatives securely with an API foundation. Thank you so much, Senthil, and thank you to the audience for watching this video.